thank you so much for joining me. Today I would like to show you a beautiful demonstration of colorful flowers with watercolor. So we are not going to do any drawing because I prefer to have my watercolor flower painting be so fresh and transparent, because if we add drawing by pencil, so the darkness of a pencil be visible in flowers. So I prefer to have light color like fresh yellow, fresh pink, fresh red, and just move on with two different size of brushes. So a little bit bigger one for the bigger part, like the bigger petals and bigger leaves, and this one smaller is good for details like smaller part of the flowers and then the stem. So start to place first of all the flowers on my paper, and then add more details on top and add the stem and leaves around. So with the lighter flower, I'm going to start with the brush, and I'm going to start with yellow color. Yellow is the bright color I have, so add a drop of water into the paint. Bring here a little bit runny and loosey, or look like a juicy color. And this is just a pure yellow. I'm going to start the yellow flower here, a big one. So start with the center. Imagine this is the center of my flower, and I'm going to make it yellow, but I'm sure to have more brown and more dark color add on top of this one. So far is okay to add yellow color. For have an idea where should we place the stem, sorry, the petals. So start with whole brush and the tip. This is the tip, and hold the hair is whole hair of brushes. So lay down and try to use the tip of brush to shape the petals and move it toward the center like that. I'm going to use the water that I already have on my brush. Make the shape of petals a little long on tip, and on tip of the petals and connection to the center, I try my best to have a little more pointy. I don't let it dry. At the same time, I'm going to add a little orangey color and add somewhere with some brush stroke, because I don't want to have just one color on my flower. I would like to have light and dark at the same time, and the orange is good darkness for the yellow flowers. Even on the center as well, I'm going to add a little orangey tone. Clean the brush, back to yellow. I can connect more some petals together a little bit. We don't have to have this separation in between. Even we can bring some petals in between and make them connect together. You can draw a tiny line and then lay down, hold the hair of brush into the paper, and then again bring it up and make the end of petal be pointy. Start the line, lay down, make it pointy. Start the line, lay down, and then make it pointy. So move on with the orange color a little bit. The reason I'm going to add the darker color on top of the wet surface is because when the surface be wet, very gently and nice, they can blend together and there is no edges created in between. So it's already wet. When you bring the orange color, they mix together and give us a nice result. Okay, so I'm happy with this yellowy orangey flower. I keep it get completely dry because I would like to add some dark color, like a brownie color here on the center. So for having the balance on the painting, I prefer to have one yellow flower here and another one here. So the rest is covered by pinky and reddish color, or in between some purpley tone. This is the bigger one in yellow, so this one here should be a little shorter and smaller. And I'm going to add one like a C curve for a center, which is a brownie center, and then the petals is covered here, so the flower is not facing us like that. It's just visible from a side. So same as the other petals that we had here, I'm going to start with narrow line, connect to this part of the flower, and then lay down a little, make it thick here, and then pointy at the end. Then another flower, the same here I'm going to add. So the center, a little bit C curve. Now this time I'm going to add the yellow flower, not pointy, same as these petals, a little bit round shape. So here is pointy, but here I try to make it round. And some empty space in between. Then we wait everything get completely dry for these flowers. Now I'm going to add the pinky color for another flower. So a little bit water into the pink. I'm going to add here, and imagine this is the center, but all the center flowers are really darker than the things that we see. We will add that later, that darkness. And then I'm going to start with one shape of petal like that. So this is another pink flower. Now I will let it a little bit get dry. I would like to add a little darkness toward the center. and the same color, but this time I'm going to add very less water, more pigment. So just a bit more pigment to the center of petals. And then let it dry. So another flower is placed here, and this is the bright pink color, and it's just like a donut shape. So I'm going to add this shape. The details make it more interesting. So far it looks like a donut, just a oval shape. And then another one I prefer to have with the red color here on top. Diluted, hold the brush into the water and paint. Then start. It's look like a bowl here. So start to draw one bowl shape. And then place. I'm not paying attention to the center because I will add that later with the dark color. Just try to add the petals here, shape it, separate it each from each other, and cover whole the center with this reddish color. This is another one, and I have one because of the balance. I prefer to have one red color here. It can be look like a blossom, so we don't have to have all the flowers be open. We can imagine another one is like a blossom, and the other is nice to have here. Shape off like that. Then with the tip of brush we can add some more details around. So we can let it dry completely and then move on next part. So for the next part, until all these flowers get completely dry and get ready for the details, I'm going to add the stem and the leaves around. So start with the lighter green. This is light green color, and we can move on with dark green as well. It depends. We can make the green a little bit warmer by brownie tone and make it dark by blue color. So far is fine. So start with light green color, and with a smaller brush, try my best to have less water into the brush. So I'm going to keep my napkin beside myself to control all this water into the brush. So start with here, for example. Draw one line as a stem. Even we can move on with one level darker than the green that we had, and then add some broken line a little more to shape it more visible. The other one, start for example here. The rest is under this petal. Pass from here, move on, like this way. And even this petal, we can start adding some more details for this one. And the details is really easy to do by smaller brush and with the tip of brush. And try to draw a narrow line. Even we can move on, randomly add one stem here. Sometimes it's nice to add a little blue into the green and make it darker. And we can add some more details around with narrow line, tiny line on a stem. So some stem have some more details. And all these happen with tip of brush. Add some details. Now I think we have maybe this one left. We have most the stem that we need already, so we have all of them. Now we can add some more leaves around. It depends where we need to add and make it interesting, like here, or a little darker. I'm going to add here. Add more green, blue, and brown to make the brown darker. On top of each stem I can add some more leaves, sometimes interesting to have. Or you can check, and if you see any empty space, we can add some more leaves around, which is interesting. To have already the balance in our painting, not just one part covered by green and the rest be empty. So it's better to have green spread everywhere to have the balance in our painting. Same as the other color that we add already. And actually I would like to bring some nice and narrow purple flowers around. So let me clean my brush very well. With this small brush, pick up purple color. With the small brush it's easy to do the details more, so control it with napkin. I'm going to add some long stem covered by purple. And all these happen by tip of brush. And purple and yellow are complementary color beside each other. It's so interesting. So I try my best not to pass these yellow petals and try to show that these purple flowers under this. So leave this part and then continue and move on an empty space in between. So I have this purple tone here. I would like to add one here too. And then I think one more here is nice to have. Now it's time to add more details on top of flowers, like the center of flowers, like a little bit shadow. We have already the shadow and light, but if we need to add more, we will do it right now. So the center of these yellowy flowers are brown, so I'm going to add this brown here. This is reddish brown. So start with a little orange first. Because the surface is completely dry, I'm going to make it a little wet. And then add the brownie tone on this part. Even a little blue into the brown can make the brown darker, or we can use already dark brown. Both are okay. So clean the brush, move on here. And the third one. The connection between petals and this center is always darker. Because of that, I'm adding more darkness on this part. So this is about the yellow one. Now I'm going to add the blacky dark color to the center of these pinky colors. So we can go with right black color or gray color because it's too dark, or we can add dark brown, dark blue mixed together and reach some dark color like that. So I already have the grayish color, and I imagine this is look like a ball, so I start from here. And imagine this is the dark color of center. Follow the brush stroke, so I'm not coloring it exactly with one solid. It's actually solid color, but I try to use the brush stroke be visible on top. And then really tip of brush so narrow. Try to add some narrow line randomly. And add some dot a little bit more in the stance with the tip of brush. This flower is like a poppy, so oops, not touch the wet surface, be careful. So this is about this one. And the other. And same as the others, is facing us, so a little space in between, add some dot around. Not much busy, it's better because it's dark color, so I don't want to make it busy. Randomly add some dot around. and connect them with narrow line, randomly, really narrow and gently. So this is the other flower, and then the last one is the center of this tiny one. Like that. Just in case I want to get rid of just a solid red color, I mix it with a little reddish brown, make it darker for having some shadow and light. Like that would be interesting more. So even we can use this shadow and light for the flower here as well. Okay, I think we're done for every details and everything, and I hope you enjoy this beautiful colorful flowers.